The world will punish you for having low self-esteem. In fact, there are people who make it a sport to find someone with the lowest self-esteem so that they can abuse them, so that they can momentarily build them up and then pull the rug from under their feet. This is why it's important for you to dedicate a lot of time towards building yourself up, working on your self-confidence, and developing a healthy self-concept. Hello and welcome. If you're new here, my name is Chidon Pofu. I'm your personal emotional intelligence detective. Welcome to the Fit with Chido family, where we go beyond physical fitness, striving for mental and emotional fitness. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you get notifications. The topic of conversation today is deciding what your value is in the world. When I was growing up, one of the things that astonished me was two people who could have grown up in similar situations, they look the same on paper, they might have similar features, will be treated differently by people. And it seemed like the difference in treatment was some arbitrary thing that people can feel or sense from the way the person carries themselves. I thought this was very strange because all human life has value and everyone's life is priceless. There's no price tag you can put on any person's life. Have you ever noticed that someone with low self-esteem gets burnt a lot? It's almost as if they can never catch a break. It's almost as if it's a crime that they have low self-esteem. Society thinks they are now somehow less than because they have low self-esteem. This is a big problem. However, this is the world we live in. I'm always emphasizing that you need to differentiate between how things should be and how they are. Ideals versus reality. The ideal is people should value you. People should value your life. The life in you is invaluable. It's priceless. No one can put a price tag on that. The reality is people don't do that. They look at how you treat yourself. They look at what you have. They look at how other people treat you to decide how to treat you. And they also look at how you respond to disrespect to decide how to treat you. So, one of your missions should be to build your self-concept. It should be to understand where you are currently, what you think of yourself, and be honest with yourself. Assess, what do you think you deserve? What opportunities have you allowed yourself to go after? What things have you passed either because you thought you were better than the opportunity or you thought you were less than the opportunity? Because it goes both ways. How are people treating you and how do you react when you're being disrespected? How many times does someone disrespect you before you decide to put a stop to it? These are all things that communicate what your self-concept is. As you do this, I want to caution you because a lot of people, once they realize, oh my gosh, my self-esteem is on the ground, it's in the pit, it's really low, they start to shame themselves. They start to think of themselves as less than, which adds to the problem. A lot of people develop low self-esteem because of their life experiences. Maybe there's childhood trauma or bullying involved, or you just grew up in an environment surrounded by people who had low self-esteem, or your parents were comparing you to other kids. You learned to think that you're less than or you're not enough. There are many reasons why someone can end up with low self-esteem. Unfortunately, there is no school to teach you to identify these things when you're growing up. You only notice it when you look back and reflect on your past experiences and you realize maybe I don't value myself as much. In life, you have to decide what your value is. And once you decide what your value is, stop accepting the things that are not worth your value and start reaching for the things that confirm your value, the things that you now understand you deserve. Nobody's going to do that for you. In fact, corporations, even governments want you to live in this fearful, low self-esteem state because that's an easy state to control someone. It's easy to control someone with low self-esteem. You're more prone to manipulation tactics. You're more likely to stay when you're being disrespected. You're more prone to guilt and shame and fear tactics. And you're more likely to self-betray. Low self-esteem is a disease that needs to be eradicated from the human existence. We have created this problem. We impose it on our children without them realizing it, and they suffer as they are adults, trying to navigate a world that feeds off of them having low self-esteem. Corporations feed off of people having low self-esteem. Predators feed off of people having low self-esteem. Abusers feed off of people having low self-esteem. It is in the oppressor's best interest for more people to have low self-esteem because they're easier to control, they're more prone to guilt, they're more prone to fear, more prone to shame, and you have to dedicate time, look for resources, find people who can help you. If you need to go to therapy, understand what your issues are, read books, everything you need to do in order for you to work on your self-concept, because if you don't, it will affect your life, the quality of your life, the relationships you have, the things you allow yourself to have, the places you give yourself access to, because of how you understand yourself, what your self-concept is, what you think you deserve, who you think you are, what you think your value is. Today's a short episode. However, this is a very important topic. It affects everything that happens in your life. And I want to stress that it's really important for you to understand what your self-concept is right now and start working on building it up. Start doing something about it. Whatever it is you think your value is, the world will reflect that to you. Even if you're worth more, this is the crazy part. Even if other people think that you are valuable, if you don't value yourself, they will start to believe whatever limitations you're putting on yourself. Or they might still think you're valuable, but they would treat you in a mediocre way because they see you treat yourself in a mediocre way. So this is a non-negotiable. It's really important for you to work on your self-concept and understand that the world is unfair in this way. They benefit from you having low self-esteem. A lot of things are done through TV, parenting, even in schools, that lower people's self-esteem. And then as you grow older, you don't learn. Nobody teaches people to search within and work on this, because a lot of people stand to benefit from people being fearful, not knowing themselves, not seeing their own value. Thank you for joining me today. This is a very important topic. A lot of people struggle in this area and don't realize that whilst they may have developed low self-esteem from external circumstances, external influences, people, places, experiences, it's still their responsibility to work on their self-concept, because the world doesn't want you to work on your self-concept. The world wants to keep you in this crippled state of thinking you're less than because it benefits them. It benefits a lot of people, so you need to work on this. This does not mean it's right. It does not mean that people with low self-esteem, something is inherently wrong with them. A lot of the indoctrination happens when you're young, and some people don't even realize they have low self-esteem until they're older or even have their own children, and they want to do things differently. Next week, we'll talk about gatekeeping, the importance of privacy, having boundaries when it comes to your personal information, identifying who to share personal information with and who not to share it with, and being more mindful when you share what's going on in your life. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you get notifications. My name is Chidon Pofu. I'm your personal emotional intelligence detective, always keeping it real. See you next week.